baseball's Independence Day. So many others. Please welcome Bill Pullman. Thank you for coming out today, Bill, and to talk about this. And I was telling you backstage, if I was a casting person, I would not have thought of Bill Pullman to play this guy, because I've seen him every day on the news for like 2 years. He was on every morning. They wanted to figure out a new story to tell about Alex. And you are astonishing. What a transformation in this.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think I was the last person on earth that hadn't heard of him.
You had not heard.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. I wasted like 2 or 3 days not wanting to read it. I heard this about a guy who killed his wife and son, and I thought, oh my God. I don't want people getting ideas about me over my house. Then I read the script, and I really saw that a lot of it was taken from all the coverage. It struck me, that script was amazing, because nowadays you can, this was one of the states, South Carolina, that allows video in the courtroom. So hours and hours of behavior that you got there. You got the 911 call that you can hear. You got the body cam of the first officer arriving on the scene, the dash cam that was in the car for the night, the first night, and 3 nights later, and then the courtroom. And I only had like 6 more days to get ready to start shooting.
Wow.
It's the last minute thing, so I wasted 2 days, and then I really, then I deep dived in YouTube.
Well, if you're going to play a guy who murdered his wife and son, this is the time to do it. The age of social media and cameras on at every moment. There's so much for an actor. Before we talk about all of that, though, this is Bill Pullman as Alex Murdaugh. Take a look. Wow. I've done some
One of my good days.
How do you prepare to do a scene like that? What do you have to get in your head to do that and become this guy?
Oh. I think some of it was, if you see the whole movie, this is kind of late in the game.
It's a 2-part movie.
It's a 2-part movie, yeah. So, it starts with his great affection for his son, and spending a lot of energy to please his son and give him things and to make him included. And I think, Alex is probably a guy who's never got a lot of love from his father, and I think he tried to give his son love, and then it just got in deeper and deeper, and then his son had gotten in this boat accident, and the girl was killed, and then he spent a lot of energy trying to cover up and doing everything he could to protect his son, and then son seemed to not really be helpful in covering it all up, and it just all exploded out of frustration, I think, in the scene.
When you play a role like this, as despicable as this guy is, eventually we see everything he did, and he's in prison. He keeps getting years added onto his term now, too, I guess, too. Do you have to find something, some layer there, that you can see the human being and play the human being? And you sort of indicated that just now, too, that his background and things that you've gone into to help you.
Yeah, I think it's always finding those paradoxes is important to, I think, to really go deep. You got to have a couple of truths. Sometimes they're contradictory, but I had to have a call with the director, before I said yes, and I was nervous about, how are we going to do this? And so we didn't have a lot of time, because it worked right up to the start the drop dead date to have the SAG contract,
So this is right before the strike happened?
right before the
So
strike.
it's a race against time to begin with.
You can't go over, it was just right to the day, and then the next day, well, actually, the 2 days before the end, they postponed it and gave it one more week grace, but you couldn't know that a month or two, a couple of months before, so.
Wow.
They had to do it fast, but I talked to Greg Beeman, is his name, and, I said, yeah, you do good work, all that, but I think that, Alec loved his wife and his son. And Greg said that. He said, I think he did too. So how do you kill somebody that you love?
Right.
How does that happen? And, it doesn't occur to you probably for most of the time up until you do it, if somebody like him did it. So I think that's what allowed me to kind of get inside him because love is a great thing. Addiction is also a pretty nice condition to be in. To be a little high. He's oxycodone, which I've never taken it. I didn't have to do it, but I just, there's that thing about it when you got yourself, you're flying the airplane up to a certain high, and you start to lose a little elevation. And then you want to up it, get back out of that turbulence that you got into, and you just drink, and then you just pop a few more, and you're back up, and you got incredible energy. You feel like you're almost like the hand of God or something sometimes, and that kind of also, was the way he rolled. He had this addiction for years, and I hadn't realized, when you start, you don't have much, you don't have to take very much of it to get up there. But then over the years, it became like $50,000 a week. So you gotta get the money from somewhere. I think he was, embezzling, and also, I don't think he ever thought it was a bad thing, because he was coming up for a lot of the people that he said, I can bring some money to your family. And, I think he probably thought of himself as, we'll bring a lawsuit, we'll do it this way, and you'll get some money. And then if I get a little more money than what I said I was gonna take, you're still got more money than what you started with when you had nothing.
Yeah. Does he know about this movie?
I didn't tell him. If he called, I'm not taking that call.
It'd be rough.
Yeah.
I know you had the scripts and things, and you were against time, but a lot of this is taken directly from the real transcripts of the trial and everything. Does that help when you can go through that kind of material?
It's really interesting about real transcripts, because you realize how much sociopaths and people who are, have this kind of moral, cauterized morality, that's just somehow burned out of any sense of guilt or anything. And you feel the way that they are moving through a sentence. And if they're talking one way at the beginning of the sentence and they sense there's something better to go to, they'll just drop that sentence, go down, finish it with, and you'd start a sentence with like, there was a dog back there, and them dogs would just bark, and and just like you would never write that as a writer, but having that weird, suddenly one dog becomes, a lot of dogs, and you can get a lot into the psychology by the mistakes you make in your syntax, and that's what I liked about the script. They had a lot of syntax, things that aren't polished, but were guttural.
And the physicality of it, when you've seen him and see him in different situations, the way he might change also, that I would imagine would be valuable to be able to.
Yeah, you get there's all the, those times where, he's with his, he has different things, but when you go so fast, I also was aware of what I couldn't figure out. I would have liked to have a little more time, because I swear, I think he chewed snooze,
Like that.
Copenhagen, where you put it inside your lip. And I asked a couple of people that were there, and they said, "Oh, I don't think so." And then I watched, like that first night, I realized all of a sudden he's answering questions in the passenger seat, on the front seat, and he was all supposed to be emotional and everything, and he knew. And then every once in a while, he just opened the door. And they come back in, and I'm like, "What is that?" Was he looking for some, dead body or something? How did he do it? And nobody reacted to it. None of the SLED people, the South Carolina investigators, but because I think there's something about that snooze pack in you, there's kind of good way it affects your voice and everything.
Right, like that.
Yeah, so.
But you couldn't do that.
I didn't get that far. Yeah, it was only at about 2/3 the way through that I saw it and I registered, so.
Maybe the sequel?
Murdaugh Murders, the one with snooze.
Amazing. Now, where did you shoot this? In the South, or where was it shot?
In the deep heart of British Columbia.
Doubling for South Carolina.
Doubling for South Carolina. Yeah, we were east of Vancouver, and there's a lot of the story that dealt with nouveau riche, and it's amazing how a lot of money spent by people without a lot of taste can look similar. We found those places in Vancouver. Yeah.
You lost a lot of weight, it seems, as it went on. Did you attempt to indicate that too, or?
Well, I just didn't working with the costumer, because we had to shoot it in like 6 weeks or something. It was fast, so I couldn't, and I was already, but you can do a lot with costumes and makeup, and just not to go overboard with it, but just to help do it along, and have a little bit of the way the pants fit, and then later, like, I was always struck when the moment that he took the stand, which many people said that was a bad mistake, but he was so certain that he could, really talk, and the jury would hear, and all you need is one, and he broke that jury, So he thought, if I'm defending my life, I'm gonna be one to take the chair. But he gets up and he goes, and the camera's on his back, and you realize how tall he was and how much weight he had lost. And he's still wearing the same clothes, and his clothes got really baggy. So we did a little of that.
Yeah, with costume, that's great. So, as an actor, I talk to actors and they say when they put on the costume, suddenly that adds such layers to the character that they're playing, if they hadn't done that before. It just adds more.
Yeah, and some of it's just stuff from Walmart, You don't have to pay very much for it. But the guy that's, he just like wears, good old boy shirts off the shelf and stuff, and but that, I just noticed how that gold watch was, that was holding him with that gold brassy thing right there. That was a good find by the prop guy.
Amazing, very helpful for the actor. Well, it's a terrific performance, and when I listen to you talk about the pressure you were under to deliver it is especially impressive. When you hear that you didn't have the luxury of time here, and it really is. It's scary, but it's powerful. And I thank you for coming out here today. I want to say though, folks, we have a raffle, and Bill's agreed to pull the winner.
Somehow they knew I was good at that.
And here is our raffle. Now the prize is an exclusive photo session with Michael Buckner, who is the official photographer for Penske and for Deadline. Does all the stars, been doing them backstage here. You will find out the details of it when you win. But here is, take out your